Now, the Institute of Energy Security is projected between 3 and 5% reduction in the price of fuel at the pumps, despite the marginal depreciation of the Cedi against the dollar. Already, some oil marketing companies, including the market leader, Total, have cut their price by about 2.2%. The IES is attributing the fall in petroleum prices at the pumps to a decrease in price of Brent crude on the international market. Now, prices of fuel also went down during the last pricing window at the beginning of this month, as a market leader, Goil, reduced its price significantly on the market as well. Benap Oil, Star Oil and Frames Oil were also among the OMCs that sold the least priced fuel on the local market. Well, we're joined by research analyst with the IES, Fritz Moses, on this development. Fritz, we're grateful that you could join us. Is the projected price reduction enough to cushion consumers this festive season and beyond? Well, we shall try and fix Fritz back online, but of course, this is information we're getting from the IES regarding the reduction in petroleum prices at the pumps this festive season and beyond. The IES has extended in its research the reasons behind this, stating the reduction in petroleum prices on the international market, which has seen some OMCs, including Total and Goil, reduce their prices marginally at the pumps, in response to the global reduction in petroleum prices. Of course, we have seen in the past few weeks the strike action by Commercial Drivers Union calling for a reduction in fuel prices, which subsequently saw Goil reduce their fuel prices by about 15 pesos in that particular regard. It's also raised concerns regarding the deregulation policy that so many experts in the field say remains somewhat shaky, especially when we're seeing that the price build-ups are not really reflecting what is happening on the international market. The IES, in its recent research to this nature, has responded that, well, things are changing, beginning to change from the side of the OMCs as they, toe the line of international practices as global prices reduce in that nature. So far, we do know that 3 OMCs have reduced their prices, which I'll try and fix Fritz back on the line for an extended discussion on this one. We shall get that story for you shortly. I think, we shall take a break at this moment to give you more stories after the break. Just stay with us. And just before the break, we've been telling you how the Institute of Energy Security is projecting a 3 to 5% reduction in petroleum prices, citing the global reduction in petroleum prices, which could reflect here in Ghana. Fritz is with the IES and he reconnects with us. Fritz, we're grateful that you could join us. Of course, this is a projection, but how confident is the Institute on the ability of the projection to cushion consumers enough through the festive season and beyond?
Well, thanks once again. Sorry for earlier too. We think what we are looking at is the international market factors, affecting the local prices too. What we are expecting was the rate of increment that we don't think may be as substantial as Ghanaians or consumers would expect. But then again, if you were to buy your fuel at around 6 cedis, 50 pesos per litre for petrol or diesel, and we are expecting, that's coming lower from the 60 to 70 pesos as Goil is selling. We think that's enough trade-off. Looking at how substantial that would be for consumers that purchase in the gallons, because at the end of the day, at 3 points, a 30 cedi gallon per gallon for petrol that you'll be buying may fall to around 27 cedis per gallon as with this reduction that we are experiencing.
Great. But even as you make this projection, of course, we're witnessing the strain of the Omicron variant, which definitely is also having disruptions on the global supply chains. How do you consider the outlook of petroleum prices based on this particular situation of the continued spread of the variant?
Certainly, Omicron has caused much disruption in the market. We know when the news first broke, somewhere at the end of the last pricing window, we saw prices plunge to around $69 per barrel for Brent crude. That was when they had already crossed the $80 per barrel mark before the news came out. But then again, following from new research and new data that has come out from the World Health Organization and other leading medical institutions, we see the market traders getting used to news of the Omicron variant of the virus. We think, and we also see that the market has not really reacted as negatively as we would expect. Demand hasn't fallen as much as we would expect. Only the IES, that's the International Energy Agency, projecting that demand for oil may fall by some 100,000 barrels for this month, and projecting a similar fall of 100,000 barrels for next year. That is some of the outlook, or some of the outlook that we are looking at. But then again, you see also the fact that the imposed restrictions that many countries, US, Europe, and even some countries in Africa are being forced to undertake due to the Omicron variant will only affect the jet fuel industry, because travel in that sector may fall in the festive season getting into the next year. But then again, with high vaccination rates in many countries in Europe, in US, and even in Africa, we think that for road transport users who rely on petrol, diesel, gas may not really be affected. The demand on that sector may not be affected, because majority of people are now venturing into the vaccination drive and getting vaccinated.
Definitely, but just before you leave, Fred, it's one thing to project on the global scale, and it's another thing to see the trickle-down effect here back home. It begs the question about the deregulation policy, and of course I do know that your institute has effected some research along these lines. Where do you see this policy moving forward, even as global petroleum prices fall?
Certainly, it's a worry sometimes when you see prices fall on the international markets and you don't see that commensurate fall on the local market. What we are expecting to see that the market regulator, that's MPA, play in this situation is to cause the OMCs and the BDCs to adjust their prices in relation to these falling prices. Because at the end of the day, when prices are rising, we see the commensurate rise at the various BDCs and the OMCs. What, however, we may be experiencing now is the fact that some of the OMCs had, for the previous windows in the previous month, been reducing their margins on the price order to ensure that there was a limit, there was a reduction on the prices that we see at the various pumps. And so usually what they would say that they are trying to cash in now from the reduction on their margins that they had implemented earlier. But then again, as a deregulated market, you'd expect that the NPS rule will be efficient enough to ensure that whatever the moves, what the market, what we experience on the international markets would be reflected in the local markets.
Fred Moses, many thanks for your assessment. He's a research analyst with the Institute of Energy Securities.